Welcome back to another video on Gearsaw Studios, and today I'm going to show you how to build a desert temple. Or you could remodel one using the same tutorial, but deserts can be kind of bland unless you already have things built in it. So, good way to start by building a desert temple. So, with that, onto the tutorial. So, for this tutorial, I'm going to assume you're going for that adventure map feel. So this is a little bit of a misleading display, but some of these concepts I'm showing off on this temple can be used. So if you're looking for a living one, you better look at this clip a couple of times, because there really isn't that much to do with a modern one. But you can replace these with more solid ones with smooth sandstone and alternating cut and chiseled instead of just, the lame old towers. And on the inside, you want to have a little bit more framing, a bit more openness at the top, although I kind of didn't do that because beacon. But the clay pool with the drip leaf coming out, so you can do quite a few things with this. And this, it's not part of the build, I just needed to keep the pillagers out after accidental raid. But anyways, you can get the general idea. We just want to smoothen up the temple and add more shape to it. So, for this builds palette, we're going to be using all 4 variants of normal sandstone, some terracottas. I'm going to be using blue, orange, and lime, and polished deep slate, mainly because sandstone doesn't necessarily have a good frame block, and although deep slate kind of contrasts a lot to a desert, as you can see over there, you kind of just need something for that job, because there's no vertical stairs, so we gotta work with what we have. Then you want to start making a general frame. So just do the little pillars on the sides, and you should make 6 pillars in total. So like one here, one here, one here, and make sure they protrude in the front and the back, so that way the back isn't just lame. Now we got a basic frame with a rough beetle shape, and we want to flesh out these towers. So, pretty simple. You just go up, then you can do that little wrap around like that. Make sure to not include the corners, unless you're brave enough to put stairs, which I'm not. But aside from that, you just want to make these towers. Make sure they line up accordingly to where places start and stop. And yeah, you kind of just repeat that, and then you fill in the entire thing in with smooth sandstone. We'll focus on the terracotta later. So, nice little thing to do, because normal sandstone just doesn't work that well. With our towers in place, we now have to do a little bit of terracotta work. So, you can see we can just have these little chiseled bits, and we can cram some terracotta into them. Quite simple, and just do that for all sides. Then, you want to make this entire interior area sandstone, so that way we have a legitimate floor and not just sand. So, you can do that, and you might also want to close these in, the side ones, and make roofs for them, but of course, you might want to just wait for the next step. With the floor in, we kind of want to do the main roof, but there's another step you have to do. If you have these side ones, you may notice that they're not completely done, and yeah, you just need to close them. And yeah, pretty easy to do. But once you have that done, you want to make this go down, and preferably it should end up somewhere like here, but of course, nothing can truly be perfect, so you just kind of guess and check, approximate the middle, go down, or you start from the bottom and you go up, and you just make an attempt until it all lines up in the middle. Well, I closed in some of the walls, and we got this nice pyramid shape here. And you can see that's starting to look a bit like the thing I was demonstrating at the start of the video, although with a bit more ancient feel. it still needs some work done. It needs the patterns on these walls, and also you need to close up these walls here, which is pretty simple, just bridge a gap and place some smooth sandstone. But we need to resolve the bland wall situation. So here we have a normal desert temple. We can see it has the Ankh from Egyptian hieroglyphics, I believe, and we can just do that. Nice and simple. Although I built mine a little bit too short to fit the entire thing. Still, even if you built yours too short, you can at least use some sort of Egyptian hieroglyphic, or potentially some Persian or Arabic ones. Alright, just a little quick note to self. If your things are only 7 blocks tall, just increase the height by 1 block. It does wonders for its appearance. So, just follow that little bit of advice. It really helps in making it look good. Because here's 7 blocks. Then travel all the way over here, and this is 8. Although it's a little bit cut off because, it's kind of buried. Still, you can tell it was only 8 before on inside area, so really just, it's so much easier just to increase its height by 1 block. With the towers increased in height, we now have a completely finished exterior, and it looks very nice. So, a couple of things you could do with it is changing the color of the hieroglyphs you've chosen. I just went with Egyptian mainly because Arabic doesn't really have hieroglyphs, and also the Ankh is just kind of iconic. So, just looking at this, it's pretty good, but the interior is very empty. And you can see lighting issues and all that. So, first order of business, you need to, of course, place your stairs on the ceiling in order to handle a bit of the lighting issues in here. So, just like this. If you double layer them well enough, or if you're just very lucky, and that's the honest truth about lighting issues, then you might have that resolve itself. Don't forget to also do some things here, just to increase the quality a little so we don't have whatever this is going on. So you probably want to close off some of the walls here to fix it. In this interior, you can see it's relatively dark and we have lighting glitches. Adding stairs on both sides didn't really help that much, so we gotta do torches. Because although, it's supposed to be abandoned and all, just having torches will help so much with it. Because there's an issue. If you don't have torches, mobs will be in here. And also, people have to, stumble around a little. And people are just going to place torches anyways. So, might as well just add them. Doesn't have to be terribly bright. As long as the area is bright enough to prevent mobs. You can see this is light level 1. If you can read through all that F3 screen. And, yeah. Add some chests around. You might want to close out these areas and add torches to prevent mob spawning. Because honestly, there's not much to really add to those areas. But you could hide things in there. And then we can work on the final part, the trap room. With a complete interior with these areas closed off, some terracotta on the floor, and some chests, we can now work on this bottom part. But there's a cool idea I want to show you. So, these chests are a little bit too easy for just looting. So instead, they could contain a fire charge or flint and steel or bow enchanted with flame. You can shoot this TNT up here, blow up this part, and reveal the treasure room. So, a bit more engaging, rather than just dig down. And speaking of digging down, you need to dig a wide hole, and make the deep slate the lining. As in, you make the walls under the deep slate right here. And pretty simple. Then, you make a unique design on the walls, just something similar like every 4th block could be the alternating chiseled and cut thing. Just something nice and easy to do. And then excavate a larger area at the bottom. With our little hole right here, we have a hole. Nothing else to really say. And of course we have the TNT up here to reveal it. What we want to do now is place 3 chests. And then one of them should be a trapped chest. And then you should go under this whole thing and place some TNT. Of course, you'd actually have to place a block under the ignited TNT if you were over a massive pit like me, but I doubt many of you accidentally built this over a giant pit. So, that's all fine and dandy. Right there, you can place that right there, and you can do it the old pressure plate trick. Or you could just rely on the trapped chest to catch someone off guard. Either way, decorate the chest a little with some stairs and such, and fill them up with loot if you plan on this actually being part of like an adventure game. And with that bottom part now complete, the build is finished. We have these towers on the sides, so more towers, bigger improvement over the original desert temple. Then we have the entrance, more very terracotta styles, a bit of a different interior, none of those pillars, but the pillars were okay. But we have 3 chests, a little bit easier puzzle to solve to get into the treasure room, which has a bit more treasure, and a trapped chest instead of a pressure plate, which makes a lot more deadly of a trap. So, I'd consider this a much better desert temple, especially one if you want an adventure map. Although being very similar with only light improvements, I'd still say it's miles better. Also, before I end this video, just a little bit of a demonstration of what raiding this temple would be like. Searching the chest, and of course you wouldn't find anything, except maybe flint and steel or fire charge or a flame enchanted bow. Then, you light this TNT up here, and you wait until it detonates. Of course it causes more damage than necessary. You can go down here, raid the chest, and what do you know? It can now safely detonate someone with a bit more viciousness. So I'd consider this a pretty good improvement. So with that, it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. With that, take care, enjoy your new temple, and don't get blown up while trying to build it by checking if the trap chest works, okay? Because I know someone out there will do that. Be extra careful. Gearsaw